SMD Law is the official law firm of the Spartan Nation. Check them out on the interwebs at smdalaw.com or at 866-529-3537. No matter where you are in the state of Michigan, Upper Peninsula, Lower Peninsula, it doesn't matter. They have an office near you. So whether you need to send a letter to an annoying neighbor, or you're a criminal and you need defense, maybe you just have problems with elder law, check them out, smdalaw.com today. The official law firm of the Spartan Nation. Call them first, then you act.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back, Spartan Nation Radio. We now bring in Spartan Nation senior writer. I bet he's going to think he's in trouble now. He's going to think of his mom, Jonathan Petershop. How you doing, JPS?
Not too bad. Hondo, not too bad. Camp's getting ready to beginning. People flowing in to wherever they're going. Hopefully they're going to the right place with some of the roster shuffles that we have. And we've got some new names to look at and think of in the Big Ten. Many are in the East, but don't forget about the big one out there in the West. What if the new quarterback at Northwestern is really a big deal? That could change things quite a bit and make the West a lot more simple to figure out than wide open as it's projected to be.
Let's start in the West, John, where I think Northwestern and Nebraska are the two wild cards. I mean, I think Wisconsin's going to be good. I think Iowa's going to be, okay. I don't think they're going to be great, but I think clearly a bowl team. I think Wisconsin has a chance to be great. I don't know that they're going to get there. I think Nebraska's still a year away, but obviously I think they're a bowl team. Listen, with Scott Frost, they could be great because I think they could take that jump. But Northwestern, to me, and Wisconsin are the battle cards for trying to win it this year. Do you agree or disagree?
I'm not sure about Wisconsin because there's going to be a change at quarterback, and you don't know how well that's going to go. I'm a lot more confident that Hunter Johnson is going to be amazing at Northwestern. This is a five-star guy that could have competed last year with Trevor Lawrence and with Kelly Bryant at Clemson, didn't get that chance and ends up following a sibling and lands at Northwestern. The wild card is kind of fits a lot of teams in that division. For me, wonder if it fits Iowa as well, because I don't know if Iowa has enough to play with those two. Wisconsin has been steady, but Wisconsin appears from 30,000 feet to maybe be regressing towards the mean and maybe back where they kind of historically have been. Northwestern may have had just pretty much everything go their way last year, but then you say, hey, they've got more firepower coming in this year, and they know how to win. So those are the two that I think we'll keep the closest eye on. I'm kind of further back on Nebraska than you are. I'm not sure that they're as close as the media or they may like to be, just because the name. I don't know that the name is worth that much anymore. I do think the quality of coaching is, and there is a new sheriff in town in Lincoln, and it seems like they've had such an effort to get back to doing some of the things that they know are going to make any program successful, let alone the Huskers that were successful when Scott Frost was there as a player. This may be the year, especially in the second half of the year, that we start to see that show up, that we start to see a physical advantage that Nebraska has over the other teams that they play that you would have seen in the classic heyday of the Tom Osborne Huskers, for example, which, of course, Scott Frost was a part of.
See, this is why I said I think they're a bowl team. I still think they're a year away from competing for the Big Ten West title, but with Scott Frost, you just never know. He's that high of a quality coach.
Well, that's what the record says based on his work at South Point. And so that is the kind of the wild card. They've got a good warm-up opening. Then they've got an interesting one at Colorado. I don't think it's far-fetched to say that they would be a favorite at Colorado. That could be that to me is just a toss-up. They got Northern Illinois, who is historically going to be somewhat of a challenge. They've got Illinois as well, and then they go. Then they host Ohio State. So if they show up and if they're 4-0 playing Ohio State, I would say that you're right on track. You're exactly right. But let's see where their record is after Ohio State, Northwestern, and at Minnesota. Believe it or not, for Nebraska, their Big Ten schedule is not too easy a start at all. They've got games that could go either way for quite a bit. And that may be the story of the Big Ten West this year. The Big Ten West may entertain us a good bit, especially in conference, because most of the games could go either way. I'm not sold on Illinois. I don't know anybody that is. But when you look at the width of that conference, it seems like there's a lot in there that could do some things. Purdue, we know, and they've got that unbelievable, maybe the best player in the West by far, to get the ball to as many times as possible. Minnesota has the success late last year. We talked about Northwestern, Nebraska, and Wisconsin. So the West may be more entertaining than any part of, and they may be more entertaining than any division in the Power Five this year.
Let me ask you this. How many Big Ten West teams, now think about this one, John. How many Big Ten West teams will get bowl eligible? Let's go through them. You count them down.
Well, I think you have a pretty safe bet if you look at the Purdue Boilermakers and think that they're going to find a way to make make a bowl. I think you're safe to say Wisconsin is going to make a bowl, and Iowa is going to make a bowl as well, in Northwestern. So there's 4 right there. Out of Nebraska and Minnesota, I think you're safe to say at least one of them is going to make a bowl. So, you're up to 5 and maybe 6. So there is some width. I guess it's going to be important to really win games that you're supposed to win and not lose any that you should not. And we're specifically pointing towards non-conference games. If that happens, you could have up to 6 bowl eligible teams in the Big Ten West. I don't think it's impossible. I do not see how Illinois could become bowl eligible. I just don't see that really any possible way. Outside of that, I think everybody's got a shot at it, and a reasonable shot.
Jonathan, I really like Lovie Smith as a person. Every interaction I've had with him, and I've had several, just a great human being, a great guy. I'm curious, is his failure in Illinois because of him, or is it just Illinois is so far behind the 8 ball?
I think it's probably, when it comes down to X's and O's, I don't think there's any question it's not him. The guy's a fantastic professional football coach. That's
a Super Bowl coach.
Yeah, I mean that's largely related to scheme more than more than anything. They're not really recruiting there. I don't think that his energy match and his best skills are probably best fit for college. It's more of a slow talking, lower energy guy, more of a professional manner, is not probably going to relate as well with whatever the current crop of 16 to 18-year-old kids are. So I don't know that it's the best fit at all. I think that's the biggest issue. I do think Illinois is pretty far behind. We were surprised to see them have the success that they did with Ron Zook when Mike Loxley was a big part of that. If you remember some of the players that they had buzzing through there, they made a Rose Bowl. That was a lightning bolt, really, of success. It got a little muddy after that. There's no sign that Illinois is going to be able to turn it around anytime soon. So, yeah, Lovie Smith seems like a fine coach, seems like a better fit for pro football, and I don't see how they're going to have a great measure of success at Illinois, regardless of how well he teaches the game and how well they coach. They got to get players in there, and I just don't think there's really any chance for them, especially when you look at some of the other style of younger, firecracker, energetic coaches in the Big Ten West that Lovie Smith is going to match up for. He provides a clear contrast, and to date, that contrast is not looking good.
I agree with you 100%. We're talking to Spartan Nation senior writer John Schopp. So, John, give me this, if you would, please. What is your projective, if you had to pick today, what is going to be the order of the Big Ten West finish?
Boy, it really is a toss-up situation, isn't it? I got to give the edge, and I swirl around with this quite a bit as I look at these schedules down. I'm going to go ahead and give the edge to Northwestern on top. After that, I have got Purdue and Wisconsin. Then I have got Nebraska over Iowa in the Corn Bowl. And then I've got Minnesota and Illinois. And I feel like there's a very thin margin of that, because if we're talking about this later not this fall, when we're talking about this in the winter, and if we were talking about Iowa somehow won the Big Ten West, it wouldn't be the biggest shock of all time. It would not. Nor would it be if Purdue or Wisconsin were to have won. It wouldn't be if Northwestern ends up around 500. It would be a shock to me if Nebraska is winning the Big Ten West. It would be a huge shock to me if Minnesota is winning it also. But for today, and as we get into August, unless something massive changes with their quarterback situation, I think Northwestern is the team to beat, and I like them the most because of what I think they're getting in Hunter Johnson.
Barring injury, I'm predicting Northwestern to win it, Purdue to finish second, Nebraska third, Wisconsin fourth, Minnesota fifth, Iowa sixth, Illinois on seven. Well, next week when John joins us, we're going to preview the Big Ten East. Remember, you're listening to the Spartan Nation Radio Network.